romance of the quest for the Holy Grail and the idea of the wasteland. And as I told you, Eliot's mythical method demonstrates that the wasteland is not peculiar to the Western civilization in the 20th century. It has been occurring in history from time to time. And that's why once there was this wasteland in India, and there was hahagar, there was horror. So, Danavas, Manavas and Devtas, that is God, demons and humans, they all approached the Prajapati, the creator, and the Prajapati spoke to them through thunder. Da, da, da. Here I would like to tell you that T.S. Eliot uses the polyglot technique and the computer has counted the number. There are words from 26 languages in the wasteland by way of what is called polyglot technique. And they have their own role in conveying the meaning. As I told you, the entire meaning of the wasteland is conveyed by one keyword. It is controlled by one keyword, and that is April. April, as I told you, stands for Caritas and Cupidita. Here, the modern wastelanders are hollow men. They are condemned. They have neither Caritas nor Cupiditas because nothing grows. It's all dead. It's a desert. So, in the final section, T.S. Eliot prescribes the remedy. And as you know, modern man talks of loneliness, alienation. Modern man's, soul is in unrest. सुना है उसने आँख बंद कर ली, कई रातों से सोया नहीं था. When the soul is in unrest, you can't sleep. And sometimes this loneliness leads to suicide and alienation. But as is the tradition, the West has always looked upon the East for spirituality. You have beat poets, you have American Orientalists, Emerson and others. You have Eliot. Eliot looks toward the past. You have W.B. Yeats, his poem Meru. The materialism of the West is redeemed by the spirituality and wisdom of the East. And so, as you see that, we have references to Ka, we have reference to thunder, we have reference to damp wind on the shore, and towards the end of the poem, there are so many references toward the end of the poem. You notice, I sat upon the shore fishing with the arid plain behind me. The fisher king is now sitting upon the shore fishing with the arid plain behind me. Shall I at least set my lines in order? London Bridge is falling down. And then, we have this line from the Spanish tragedy, Hieronimo is mad again, Datta Dwadam Demata. Now the three Sanskrit words prescribe a threefold remedy for the ills of the civilization. There are so many other devices also. As I told you that we have poetic shorthand. Now the fact is that at every step you have imagistic juxtaposition, jarring expressions, but cumulatively they contribute to the total meaning of the poem. And as I told you, Pound, Eliot and James Joyce, they believed in high marginalism. This term is written in capital letter, H capital and M capital, and it is not used for other writers. High marginalism means avant-garde, bizarre, innovative experimentation. Actually, this was the problem. with the modern literature began, there was this quest for proper technique to convey meaning. So we had Impressionism, we had Expressionism, we had Surrealism, we had Absurdism. So modern poets were engaged because, the subject matter of poetry does not change. What changes is the technique. And Eliot believed in American New Humanism. You can't go beyond the immediate. You have to write about your immediate problems. You cannot glorify the eyes of the beloved. You have to highlight the tears rolling down her cheeks. So Eliot was a modern poet. Every person living in the modern age cannot be a modern poet. A modern poet has a particular kind of sensibility for neurotic behavior, sensibility for loneliness. And why do we have this theater of the absurd? Because man is devoid of all his belongings. Nature is gone. God is gone. Love is gone. And that's why in the wasteland we have fruitless lust. We have that typist girl who has a quick mechanical relationship with the agent which comes and carries she's all this. And Eliot wrote that what Tiresias sees is the substance of the poem. And as you see, all the realities of the wasteland are highlighted by Eliot through his devices, through his techniques, and he is able to convey the meaning. We have so many women in the wasteland. We have men. We have a brothel. We have wastelanders who are condemned. Eliot also uses the idea not only of inferno, but also the idea of limbo. Those people who are not sent to inferno or paradiso or purgatorio are detained in limbo. So these modern people are wastelanders lurking in the limbo where nothing grows, where you have desert. Ultimately, as I told you, the purpose of the wasteland is not negative. It is not to highlight the gloominess, desiccation and barrenness. It is also a quest for healing, for fertility, for power. And that's why the poem is not circular. And give, sympathize and control. These are three different directions for different traits of human beings who are selfish. Give, control your desire, sympathize with others. But these things are missing. So Eliot viewed modern Europe as dying of lack of faith. And he uses act, objective correlative, act metaphors. And actually, what I forgot to mention is that when we talk of obscurity, then we think of Donne, Browning and Eliot. And Eliot was directly indebted to Donne for unified sensibility and also to Browning for the use of persona, for masks. And as you see, there are so many characters who are used as a mask. We have a Tiresias, we have that agent, and the central symbol on which the entire wasteland hinges is the sexual symbolism. And as I told you as a Puritan, actually, what happened that T.S. Eliot was deeply influenced by T. Hume, Irving Babbitt, and Ezra Pound. And T. Hume wrote a classic book, Speculations, where we have a seminal essay which Eliot had read. He says, what is all this buncombe about perfection of humanity? Humanity can never be perfect because it is guilty. Perfection belongs to God. And they said that the basic error was to transfer the perfection of God to human beings, which is the bedrock of romantic sensibility. Eliot, as a Puritan, is anti-romantic. He does not believe in the nobility of the noble savage. And that's why he gives us a degraded picture. And as a Puritan, he equates the fallen nature of man with sex and sin. So here we have a contrast between Lawrence's approach to sex and Eliot's approach to sex. But the wasteland is no doubt a complex poem, and it evokes horror in our mind. And as I told you, we have loneliness, we have alienation, we have sterility, emotional sterility is there, and all the three deaths are. The wasteland has death of nature. It's all desert. The wasteland has death of God. They are godless people. April displacement, they are painfully reminded of others that they are having spiritual rebirth, they are living with his faith, but we are not. We are sterile, we did. We have, in the beginning, we have this picture of, the picture of, I'll show you, just a minute. We have the picture of the biblical wasteland. What are the roots that clutch? What branches grow out of this stony rubbish? Son of man, you cannot say or guess, for you know only a heap of broken images where the sun beats and the dead tree gives no shelter, the cricket no relief, and the dry stone no sound of water, only there is shadow under the sun. So you see, we have biblical wasteland, we have the London mob, we have the Indian wasteland. So the poem, the meaning of the poem is enriched and expanded by the use of the mythical method, by other devices. At every step we have references. So many poems are evoked. We have a song in the Vicar of Wakefield, when a lovely woman stoops to Valley. So here, when a lovely woman stoops to Valley, she straightens her hair and puts a record on the gramophone as if nothing happened. So Eliot uses the devices of intertextuality and other devices, poetic shorthand, montage technique, myths. Just he has only one purpose, to convey the idea of what is the modern man. And he finds that, the modern men are wastelanders, they are hollow. But later on, as you find, the wasteland has been left behind, because we have references to cock, we have references to fish, and fish is a symbol of fertility. And Hieronymus is mad again to set right. But remember, man's fallen nature is there, and this fallen nature has made them spiritually dead. They are lurking souls in the region of limbo, and that's why I find the wasteland as an expression of acutely conscious sensibility of the modern man, who, bereft of nature, God, and love, feels lonely. Eliot's The Wasteland is a comment on modern man's loneliness. Later on, as you see that many writers, many poets, they committed suicide, because suicide is an intellectual protest against the meaninglessness of life. And life is meaningless because you do not have support. You have neither God, nor nature, nor love, nor any value system. So Eliot is talking of that. So his frame of reference is religious, and he is a master craftsman, there is no doubt. Once upon a time, the wasteland was considered to be a mumbo jumbo, but today, because remember, poetry is not a statement. Poetry is imagistic coding convey the meaning. And remember, you cannot paraphrase the meaning of a poem. That's why Cleon Brooks wrote that essay, The Heresy of the Paraphrase. A poem does not mean but is. And great poetry communicates itself before it is understood. So it is there. We have the disillusionment. If there was no disillusionment, why would Allen Ginsberg visit India again and again for spiritual solace and other things? So the wasteland is a highly tour de force in terms of technique. We have mythical synthesis, we have polyglot technique, we have poetic shorthand, we have allusions, and at every step we have intertextuality. Although this concept was not there, but remember, postmodernist theories, they are old wine and new bottle. So intertextuality is old wine and new bottle. All these things were there. And the wasteland is a treasure house of intertextual devices. Now that's all. Because I do not want to repeat my ideas. I am very fond of this poem. And because I find that modern man is lonely, modern is alienated. And remember, we in India do not understand because we still believe in God. I am talking of 19th century when God was declared dead. And Matthew Arnold said, wandering between two worlds, the one dead, the other powerless to God with nowhere to rest my head. That's why he wrote the verbiage. And O'Neill said, we must strike at the root of the sickness of modern times, the death of old God and the failure of science to give us a new God. You can't survive in a godless world. You are waiting for Godot, but God is an idiot. Godot is a portmanteau of God plus idiot. People are waiting for Godot and Godot is not coming. There is no spiritual revival. And that's why we have the cult of suicide. If the modern age, this period can be called any age, then it is the age of suicide. Right and left people are committing suicide because they find life barren, meaningless. They are full of unrest. सुना उसने आग बंद कर ली, कई रातों से सोया नहीं था. That's all. Now if you want to ask any question, you ask. But remember, my focus was not on explication of this line or that line. My focus was on the overall technique, and it was not purely on meaning. How? Because now we do not ask this question, what does a poem mean? We ask the question, how does the poem mean? And how means technique. And I told you, anything that is helpful in the concretization of the theme is a technique, and it is true of the wasteland. Even the title, ending. If you have any question, you can ask. I can go on speaking. I wanted to share 3 evening images also. Wordsworth's evening image, Arnold's evening image, Eliot's evening image, because, sensibility changes from age to age. So we had Wordsworth's evening image where we have calm outside, calm within. Then we have Dover Beach where there is calm outside but commotion within. Then we have Proof's evening, uneasiness without, uneasiness within. So sensibility changes from age to age depending on the circumstances. And modern sensibility, as I said at the outset, is an outcome of 3 deaths. Man's alienation from nature, man's alienation from God, and man's alienation from love. Love has been replaced by fruitless lust, emotional barrenness. And Eliot talks of all kinds of barrenness. Spiritual barrenness, marital barrenness, and, sexual barrenness. we have the typist girl episode, where death of love is clearly illustrated. It appears as if nothing happened. She straightens her hair and puts a record on the gramophone. Muhammad Anas?
Yes,
if
sir.
you have questions, you can ask.
Yes, sir.
But don't ask what the meaning of this line or that line. Because a poem does not mean but is. Concrete embodiment of images are there. At least I find this land as a X-ray of the modern world. And as a successful doctor, Eliot highlight the disease, the malady, and then prescribe the remedy. Remedy comes in the 5th section. And there is a quest for fertility, for healing, for power, and as I argued in my paper, images of hope in the wasteland, that we have images of hope. We have the thunder, we have the possibility of rain, we have the fish, and the arid plain is left behind. And Hieronymo is made again to set things in order.
Thank you so much, sir, for an insightful